Hey guys, I'm Krista, and this is my big sister Stacy.
And this is Sister Social Call. Hey, Sissy.
Hey sis.
How's it going?
It's going really good right now. How about you? How are things for you this fine Saturday morning?
Oh, it's good. I went to our community garage sale already, which fulfills my thrifting needs because the thrift store has been closed for so long.
I was thinking about that. When does that reopen?
We don't have a date yet. They're still in renovations.
I was just getting myself packed up and ready to go to the ranch today because I haven't been there in a couple weeks. I had to pack all my ski gear because I had taken it out of my car. And I got a few groceries to take there. And of course, I take the cat with me. So I had to get his carrier ready to roll.
It sounds like you're ready to go, though.
I'm ready to roll right after we're done our podcast. So I'll be hitting the road and heading out to the ranch. See my man. Okay, you guys, I have a confession to make. I did not realize how much I say the word like until I started to listen to these podcasts. And my sister does all the editing, and she told me that it is insane how much I say the word like. So I think it sounds absolutely ridiculous. So I thought about it for a while, and I was like, I need to stop this. I just said like again. Anyways, so I need to stop or curb this. And the only way I think I'm going to be able to do it by having some accountability here. So I wanted to tell you guys about my problem. And you've probably noticed in our podcast because I sure have. So I don't really know what to do. I thought maybe put 25 cents into a jar every time like comes up in the podcast, but then Stacy would have to figure out how to keep track of that, and I think that's a bit annoying. So I need your help on how to curb this. I do think I say it more when I get excited and I start talking really fast, because then I'm not talking slowly and thinking about what I'm saying. So I'm going to try to do that more and see how it goes. But if you have any suggestions of how I should curb this, we need your help. I need your help. And this is not the first time I've noticed this in my life, but I thought I was doing okay. And then the last couple episodes, I'm not doing okay in the like department. Oh, I need help. So I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention because I think if everybody knows this, then people can support me in my journey to not say like all the time.
You're allowed to say the word like. It's just in the right context.
I sound ridiculous. I'm not even going to lie about it. So it's too much. So I wanted to get that into the world to start off the podcast. I'm just going to talk a little slower and try to really be mindful of it.
Okay. Well, why don't we move along and you tell us what is on our episode number 8 today, Sissy?
Episode number 8. I can't even believe it. That means we've been rolling at this for 2 months. Amazing. Today we're going to talk a bit about travel and some travel plans and some of our travel tips. And then we're going to roll into our peaks, pits, and plans just as we usually do. So why not get us started here, sis? And why don't you tell us about what your travel plans are? Because I think you have a lot more going on this year than I do. That's for sure.
Well, it started off in January going to Palm Springs, and we talked a little bit about that on the podcast, and that was a really great trip. My next trip that I have planned, I have affectionately started to call it my Hot Ladies and Hot Springs road trip. My dear friend Christy Farn is coming to town, and we are going to do a road trip in the West Kootenays. So we're going to stop at a couple different hot springs, Ainsworth Hot Springs, Halcyon Hot Springs, and spend some time in Nelson and Revelstoke. So I'm very much looking forward to that. That is in April, just around my birthday. So that is a nice way to celebrate. And then in May, I'm going to Vancouver. I'm going to see my bestie, my BFF, for her birthday weekend. And then I'm going to spend the week in the Lower Mainland, down in Vancouver area, and work there. I will work out of one of our offices that we have in the Lower Mainland. And then I'm going to adult yoga camp with my friend Zena, and I cannot wait to do that. I have had an adult camp on my 40s list to do this activity. So I'm so stoked to go canoeing, kayaking, and then with around my whole favorite activity of doing yoga. So that is just, I'm so thrilled.
I was going to ask, like, what does yoga camp entail? Is it very scheduled? Is it not? Is it kind of just do as you please when you please kind of stuff? What happens at this adult camp? I need to know.
There is a scheduled events, but we are adults. We get to march to the beat of our own drums.
I like that.
Yeah. So that will be fabulous. To be a camper again.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that's very near and dear to our hearts and souls.
I can't wait to go to adult camp with Zenna. It'll be so much fun. She is a great travel partner. We traveled to New York together a few years ago. That is a true test of a friendship, is traveling. And she's a great travel partner.
You can't travel with everyone. Well, you can. I think there's something to be said, though. If you're just one-on-one, that's cool. But I also think if you're, say, doing couples travel plans, then I think it's important to have space. I was discussing this with a client this week, and we had a chat about that. And I think as much as, it's cost effective to share accommodations, it's not maybe the best always. But when you're just one-on-one, the two of you, that's awesome. But yeah, that'll be great. That'll be lots of fun.
Summer travel plans are pretty minimal because it's absolutely beautiful here in Invermere. So we don't really like leaving here. There's a lake to swim in, a beach to lay at, mountains to climb, bike. So we don't really have that many travel plans. We don't typically travel together, Sean and I, in the spring and summer anyways, because it is bike season and he works at a bike shop. So we don't typically travel very far or very often together in the summer. It has to be quite a special event for us to be traveling in the months from March until the end of August and sometimes September.
If Sean had it his way, he wouldn't do much traveling anymore. He loves his home base.
It's true. Yeah, but my wanderlust makes him leave here.
Yeah, which is good. Good balance.
Yeah. Chrissy and I do have a trip planned together in the summertime. We're going back up to Rocky Mountain House to visit our great Auntie Jean and go to the chuck wagon races. They have a rodeo in June, and when we went a few years ago, Chrissy was a single lady, so it was pretty wild. The cowboys knew. It's like she emanated a scent that she was single lady. But we were betting on the chuck wagons with strangers in the bleachers, and it was just so much fun. So I am looking very much forward to getting back out to Rocky to go to the chuck wagons. And to our extended relatives that are listening, we are coming and we are all going together. So you are forewarned. Get it in your calendars for August.
Family trip. We're coming out. Even Auntie said she is coming with us because the last time she was there, she was volunteering at it. And she told us that she was standing up, looking over the fence, cheering. So this time she won't be volunteering. She'll actually be a spectator so she can enjoy it with us.
Goodness, that's going to be such a great time. I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be really special. That'll be a good one. We're trying to pack in some serious visits with that lady, so this is on our bucket list to do with Auntie.
Yep. And then the last plan that we have for certain in this year right now is we're headed back to Regina to go to the 70th anniversary of the German Club. Sean's grandparents were founding members, and so that's a pretty significant historical event. Sean was also a dancer with the German Club for a number of years, and so we are just going to go back and celebrate with our friends, and that's the second weekend in September. So that's a lot of road tripping close to home. We're not traveling too far this year. The dollar is just terrible right now, so probably not too many more visits to the States for a while until our dollar kind of stabilizes. Yeah, right now that's what 2025 is looking like. Chrissy, what are your plans for 2025 for travel?
Well, to be totally honest, I don't have a whole big bunch this year. I don't really ever have a whole big bunch of travel plans, though. So I'm coming out to see you at the end of March. I just booked that flight. So that's good. I'll be out there for a weekend. I'm flying in Friday and then I'll fly home Monday, which is perfect amount of time for me. And then, yeah, doing the Chuck Wagon races with my sister in August, right around my birthday. I'll be 43, so it'll be right around my birthday. We'll be heading out to Rocky to spend some time with the fam out there. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, every weekend of my life is a road trip because I'm always road tripping back and forth to the ranch. So that's pretty much it for me. Honestly, I love what we have going on in the summertime so much here. I have my big garden and I have my floral subscription, and I love summer in Saskatchewan. It is my favorite. I don't do a whole big bunch of anything crazy, but it's just so beautiful here. And, our winters are long, so we got to enjoy every minute of the summer that we can. So I should start thinking about getting up to the Yukon to see my dear friend Lace and her family up there, because I haven't seen them since we were on our cruise last year in Alaska. So I should think about that, but not any solid plans for there at this present moment. I'm kind of boring in the travel world. I do want to go on a solo adventure. I have to think about this. I'd love to do almost like a pilgrimage or a little spiritual kind of retreat type thing. I'm feeling that vibe right now in my life. And I just haven't nailed down where I really want to go. So I need to spend some time thinking about that, because there's a lot of different pilgrimages around the world. And there's some that take a long time and some that you could do in about a week, which is kind of more my speed. I can't really afford to take too much more time off from work. So I'm going to spend some time thinking about that. But I have a feeling I won't actually be able to do that till 2026, because I have to save the money to do that. So that's pretty much it for the travel plans.
Well, and I think you bring up a really good point about money, saving money. Like, as an entrepreneur, you don't have banked vacation days. You don't have vacation pay. So how do you actually budget or plan for travel? What does that look like?
For me, it usually takes a great deal of time. If somebody were to say to me, hey, I want to go on a trip, for instance, Mom, she really wants to go on a trip this summer. She suggested somewhere, and I just said, Mom, I just can't do that this summer. I need to plan these things in advance so that I can swirl away a little bit of money each month for that. So I can't do the spontaneous big trip. And so she was saying maybe she would like to go to New York, and that's a big trip. The dollar's really terrible. So I just said, maybe when you turn 70. That's in 3 years. But truthfully, if we're going to do a big trip like that, I need all that time to put a little bit of money away each month. And it sounds crazy, but the reality is though I have a partner, Mark, I own my own home. I have my own business. There's things that I have to think about. Even while I'm saving money for a trip, I still have to pay my mortgage, pay for my car, pay all my bills. Plus, I also have to have a little bit of money in a nest egg for emergencies. I am a small business, so I really have to be mindful about when I'm going on a trip and how I save for that. I'm not a great saver. I'm actually the worst saving money. So any money that I save, it's been set up to come out of my bank account. Any investments, any savings, it comes out on the same day every month, because I wouldn't put it in anywhere. But I'm well aware of that. So I have been for years. So I have it all lined up. The bank takes money out, investments come out, those things come out, because I wouldn't do it on my own. I just kind of YOLO, that's kind of how I live my life. So consequently, I have to do a lot of pre-planning for that. And then if I can pay for a trip, over a course of time, that's even better. So when we booked our cruise, we had, I can't remember how many months to pay for it, but it was nice because I could put down 400, whatever it was. I can't remember, but that works out best, because then it's not just a big lump sum all at once. Yeah, I don't think I'm too different from anybody else or anybody that's not even self-employed. People don't just have tons and tons of disposable income every single month. And it would be different if Mark and I lived together. We had one mortgage, one set of bills. It would be way different. When I was previously married, we did go on trips every year. We'd go away for about 3 weeks every winter, because there was a slow time at the hair salon, and it just made sense. Well, why not? We go 2-3 weeks or whatever. And And that made sense because there was a dual income household. Well, that's not the case anymore. And it just takes a lot more pre-planning. Having a tax-free savings account, that's pretty important, I think, just for those little incidentals in case things happen or just to have a little savings. One thing I really wanted to mention about savings, this has been just so fabulous. So I use this program called Square, and many of you are going to know this if you have a business or an entrepreneur of any kind. You have likely heard of Square, and it's a POS system that I use in my hair salon. And so this year they launched this feature on Square where you can set up your own little savings accounts. This is genius. Every day, that percentage that you set up from your sales, your credit and debit card sales, goes into that. This has been a remarkable tool for me because it's a small amount every day that you don't notice, and you can have as many of these accounts as you want. So I have a rainy day fund. I have my income tax fund. I have a vacation fund that I just actually started that one up because I just want to put a small amount away into that every month. And then just whatever, like if my salon chair breaks, I have extra. And my income tax is set to 20%. And then my travel fund is 5% and something else is 5%. So you can set up the amount yourself. And then it just comes and goes into this account you don't even notice every day. And it's so easy. So I pay my income tax monthly. And so it just saves up that money every month that I don't even need to think about it. And then at the end of the month, I go in there and I just take that amount and I can transfer it right into my income tax. All good. So same thing with travel. Like that little thing, it's just you can put a tiniest little amount. It has to be 0.5% or anything higher. And every month or every day, just a teeny little bit of money goes into that. But it's still accounted for on all of my sales. Now, this Square is genius. That is a smart thing to do because it's just such a little amount, but you're always accountable for all that money because it's considered into all of your sales. It just goes into this little account. Life-changing.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that people, I think, really need to know is that for you, when you are not working, cutting people's hair, you're making no money, $0.
Yeah, and that would not be the case if I had other stylists in the salon that were making commission or even more people. So anyways, yeah, like I have to be very mindful of that because yes, there's no money coming in. When I shut the salon doors down, essentially there's next to nothing coming in. So if you're an entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about because we all live in the same boat.
So if there is one thing that you would want people like me that are full-time employed that have vacation time and vacation salary, what would you like us to know when we want to plan a holiday with you?
Well, I can't just do a holiday spontaneously.
You would want me to ask you a year in advance or 2 years in advance? What do you?
Yeah, Mom wants to do a fairly big trip. She would originally it was New York, and then she says, well, maybe I want to go to England. And so I said, well, if you really want to do that, then we need to decide that now. And we'll do it for your 70th birthday, which is in 3 years. Because a trip like that is big. I couldn't just do that in a year. There's no way. But as far as if we're going to go away if we're going to do 5 days or 6 days, that's something I can probably swing. A year is a good time because it depends on what we're doing. If we're going out to Auntie Jean's, no sweat. I can book a Monday of clients and take the Friday off. I can adapt my schedule, which is also pretty glorious in my industry. Though it takes some planning time, my schedule is very flexible. So I can kind of do what I want when I want, which is dreamy. But it still takes 8 months to a year to plan a trip if we're going to do something, and even just to have a little extra cash in the kitty for fun things.
Do you have anything else to say, sis?
I do enjoy traveling, but it is not what I live for. I'm a home girl. I just enjoy being home a lot. So as much as I do love traveling, my sister loves it a whole lot more. I just work hard to have a nice life all the time. So I love traveling, but it's not my priority.
Okay, we're going to move on. I'm going to do a quick shout out at this juncture. Last week, we posted a picture of me working out at Endeavor Fitness, which is the gym I go to here in Invermere. The owner, Hunter, took those pictures for me, so I thought I would give him a little shout out. You know that we do a lot of CrossFit at that gym, and it's not really my jam, but Hunter is a very dedicated business owner and an incredible photographer. I have so appreciated his care and time that he has taken to make sure I am using the proper technique. And he has the patience of a saint at 6 a.m. So today I'm just shouting out Hunter at Endeavor Fitness.
I'm shouting out Hunter too. Way to crack my sister's fitness egg a little bit. Okay, so I guess any hot travel tips as we continue on? Do you have any hot travel tips? I have a couple I've written down, but let me know yours because you are such an avid traveler.
Yeah, well, I'm so fortunate that I have been able to travel a lot of this world. I can't wait to do more. I've been as far north as Iqaluit and Nunavut and as far south as Queenstown in New Zealand. I still have so many to go to. I've picked up a few travel tips that I really like. One of them is to convert liquids to solids. So what does that actually look like? For me, I used to have a liquid foundation. I've converted that to a stick or to a palette type of foundation. I've also converted my liquid shampoo to a shampoo bar, and that has really helped in taking up space in my liquids, things that I have to put through the security. Another one that I've converted was my face cleanser. I now take face wipes with me when I travel. And there's even some that are dry and then you can make them wet when you're traveling. And I know they're single use, which is not ideal for people who don't like single use products. But for me, when I'm traveling and I want to travel light, having big bottles or even small bottles of these liquids can take up quite a lot of space. Another one that I've converted, and I'm on the fence about this one, is toothpaste. I have tried toothpaste tablets.
I instantly just visualized and had the chalky texture of a Tums in my mouth while brushing my teeth.
Yeah, so that's why I'm a little bit on the fence. But the foundation has been amazing. Converting the shampoo to a shampoo bar has been pretty good. And then the face cleansers, converting those to wipes. So those are some of my favorite changes to limit the amount of liquids I'm putting into the bag to absolute essentials. And then the rest can just be kept in my carry-on luggage. My next hot tip, and this is my absolute favorite travel hack, is that before we go on holidays, I schedule a good food box or a HelloFresh box to arrive at my house when we get home. This has been a pretty big game changer for me because, as probably many women will understand, that we have this mental load is put on us to plan what we're going to eat. So what I do, I schedule the arrival of a good food box. That way, then I don't have to plan meals for the week that I get home. And sometimes it works out perfectly. My good food box comes on Tuesdays and I come home on Monday and there'll be suppers planned for the remainder of the week with the good food box. Sometimes I get home earlier than that. It doesn't line up perfectly, but just knowing that is coming and that I don't have to plan so much when I'm on holidays really just relieves the mental load for me. As a good food regular purchaser, we get codes to give to friends. So I'm just going to put the code up in our Instagram account. So on our weekly post. So take a look. If you want to try it out, go to HelloFresh, go to Good Food Box, whatever. But if you want to try a Good Food Box, you can try it with my promo code that will be on the Instagram account. It just removes the mental stress of having to plan what you're going to eat when you get home. So those are my two hot travel tips: converting liquids and always ordering a good food box before I go on holidays.
Those are good ones. I think your converting your liquids to solids goes with mine. So I think if you can travel with just a carry-on, this is one of my tips, then do that. And then the other one, this was brought up to me a few years ago with a client she travels lots too, packing cubes. I have this backpack I always travel with. It's kind of because it's a carry-on size. So I can fit in basically 4 of these packing cubes and stack them on each other. But inside of them, you roll your clothes to fit in them properly. And you can just cram so much in there. And then you stack them in your travel bag. You stack them in there and they just fit so nicely. It just keeps things organized. And then you can actually just take those right out of your bag and put them right into a drawer in wherever you're traveling to, and just zip them open and open them up, and then you have your stuff in there. I mean, some things that do get wrinkly, you probably want to take out and hang up, but perfect for socks, underwear, sundresses, whatever. They're pretty genius. So that's my other travel tip.
Okay, I think that covers off that. Why don't we do our peaks, pits, and plans for the week? Sis, why don't you start us off? I talked lots there.
Okay, I decided to come a little more organized this week because I think if I stay organized, it's going to help me in my talking and not saying the word like so much. So at first I said to Stacey, I just want to wing it. I don't want to be following a script. Well, then I realized that not doing that leaves a lot of space in there for me to say the word like. So if you guys could see me, I've got jot notes down like crazy today. Okay, I always like to start off with my pits, and I don't have really any pits, but I have something that's kind of funny to me. So I have a YouTube channel called Blooms and Brushstrokes, and I do watercolor painting on there. And I ask people to give me feedback because I've never done tutorial style YouTubing. I do one for the gardening and the farm life and stuff, but it's very different when you're doing tutorials about something. So I always encourage people to give me constructive criticism because the odd person will give you a thumbs down, but they never ever say why they don't like your video. And so a couple of weeks ago, I made in my video, I said, hey guys, if you're gonna, I appreciate all your feedback and it's wonderful and thank you and for all the love and support. And I have noticed that there's a few thumbs downs. So if you guys give me a thumbs down, I would totally love it if you could tell me why, because that's going to help me be a better YouTuber. It's going to help me be a better tutorial filmer, all these things. It's just going to make me better if you can just tell me, but just dropping a thumbs down doesn't really help me out. The other day, somebody watched my video and said, I really love your videos, but your upspeak, not so much. Do you guys know what upspeak is? I'm putting it out to the world. I did not. I had no idea. So I quickly Googled, what is upspeak? And upspeak is essentially my tone of voice, how I talk. Well, I was appalled.
What is actually upspeak, sis?
I should have wrote down the definition. But basically, upspeak is how you talk. And it's about how your tone of voice and how you encourage people to join the conversation, or you leave the conversation open and inviting, which it's exactly what I want to do. But I didn't know that I was doing that. I didn't know, like when I talk, I had no idea what upspeak. In our Instagram this week, I'm going to put a definition of it in there. Well, I just talk like this all the time because I have clients. I do want to have engaging conversations. I want people to feel like they can talk to me. I want to have conversations. So I messaged back and I said, thank you for your feedback. I honestly didn't even know what it was. So I had to look it up and I apologized. I said, this is how I talk. So if you don't love that, maybe just hit mute and get the captions on. Like that's the best case scenario because there's always a solution, right? And so anyways, even Stacey said to me, wow, I can't believe somebody's commenting on the way that you speak. And I said, well, you know what? Honestly, when you put yourself out into the world, you are putting yourself out there for anything. And eventually we're going to get criticism like that with our podcast too. Anyways, doesn't matter. But I did kind of chat a little bit more with her and she said, keep doing your videos. I really love them. Carry on. So, I mean, all is well. I appreciated her telling me that because I didn't know what upspeak was. So I looked it up. So I learned something. Anyways, that was my pit, which is not really a pit. It was just kind of one of those things. My peak, Mark did. He came out for Valentine's Day, which was really awesome. I didn't say that last week, but he did come out for Valentine's Day, and that was really great, and spent the night with me here at the lake. Another very cool thing that happened this week is an old friend has been on my mind, and I'm a believer. If you are thinking about somebody, reach out to them. So I didn't even know how to get a hold of her anymore. So I reached out to her brother, got her contact email, and I sent her an email, and she replied back that same day. We're old friends. Like we grew up together. She's a lovely human. And then we emailed back and forth for that day. The next night, boom, on the phone, like we had never even missed a beat. 3 hours goes by. We're just chatting away. like there's been no time in between. And that was the best ever. It was so awesome. My heart is still just pumping. It was just the best soul filling conversation ever. And Megan, if you're listening, I love you and thank you for that. It was so awesome. Anyways, and then my plans, well, I actually have some plans this week. I'm going to go to the farm today. So I'll spend a couple days out there, do a little skiing tomorrow. I'm going to do my riding lesson on Tuesday. I have a annual follow-up appointment with the respirologist because I have asthma. And then I will be going to this thing it's not called Elevate. I have it as Elevate in my notes. You can go into these rooms and they have these different challenges and they're physical challenges. Like there will be a laser beam going across the room and you got to duck down and then another one will go off and you have to jump up. Dang it. I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. Activate. Thank you, sissy. Anyway, so that's a new thing in Regina. My workout girls, we're going to go do that this Friday night, and that'll be loads of fun. And then on Saturday, my friend Kelly's coming out, and we're going to do a meal prep class with a girl out here at the lake named Jolene. I don't usually make plans, but this week, she's right full of them. So that's pretty much it. Sis, what about you? What do you have going on this week?
Well, I'll start off my pits also. And 2 weeks in a row, I really don't have any pits. And I feel so good, so fortunate that things have really calmed down in the last 8 months in my life. And I just feel super contented right now. It's just peaceful.
Best feeling ever. That's great.
It really is. It's beautiful.
I love that. I'm happy for you too, because to get there, it is beautiful. And I love that for people when they can feel that within themselves.
Some peaks. I skied last weekend and then we went for a hot spring. So that's always great. We had an extra day off this week. So for me, it was a super short work week. It was only 3 work days. On that extra day off, I went for a massage and physio, and I went for a great coffee date with a friend here in town. So that was really nice. Canada won the Four Nations games. We went out for supper and it was on at the pub, and that was still fun to watch everybody be super into it. We didn't make it for the entire game. We just stayed for dinner and up till the end of the second period, but still is fun. People are in good spirits.
Yay for that. Go Canada, go.
Yeah.
Way to go, Canada.
Yeah. And then plans, like not too much. I'd mentioned last week that we were going night skiing and pickleball this weekend. So that still is on the agenda. We may start installing our sound dampening walls. It's going to be a really big job though, but we need to do it. And I have a friend's birthday dinner that I'm going to go to next Friday night. So that's pretty much it. It's kind of a quiet week for me.
Well, I think I'm going to pump up a business here. I'm going to do a non-sponsor because I didn't do one last week because I was ill prepared. But this week I'm a little bit better prepared. So I'm going to talk about the Regina Beach Golf Course. So our friends, the Barber family, they have taken over leasing the golf course about 10 years ago. And so they do an unbelievable job of. The golf course is amazing, and they have this great restaurant there. They're such a pillar in our community as well. They give back a lot. They've improved the golf course so significantly, and I do love golfing. So they've done a fabulous job there, and I'm so proud of them. And they are really good friends of mine. They're clients of mine. They're a very close family, and I love them all. But they've done such a great job, and you'll always find Janet out there looking after her marigolds on all the holes. And then I should also mention too, Debbie looks after the inside. Debbie's not part of that family, but she's somehow integrated into the golf course. As a whole, they have a great thing going on there, and they're a lovely business in our community. So cheers to the Regina Beach Golf Course. I think that's going to wrap it up for us, sis.
We introduced our Slow Readers Book Club on February 3rd, and the first book in our book club was All Fours by Miranda July. And so we have completed the book, and Christy and I will be reviewing it at our next episode. So if you've read it, we would love for you to send us your feedback and comments. Spoiler alert, Christy and I were divided on this book. So we will be sure to share our few thoughts about those. I think that now concludes our 8th episode. Like Christy said at the top, holy cow, we've been doing this for 2 months already.
2 months. We've spent a lot of time talking to each other. Let me tell you, every day. And I mean, we talked every day, but now we're talking every day, getting caught up to speed on life, and then talking business stuff, sister social. We are full on. So it's been really great though I think it's been great for both of us. We've learned so much already. We've had such great feedback too. So thank you all for all of your comments, your feedback, your positive testimonials. All of those things are incredible. If you have suggestions on topics you want to hear, suggestions on topics you don't want to hear too much about, send them our way. We kind of have a plan in place of what we would like our podcast to be, but you know what? We'll talk anything. Trust me, we will. If you want to find us, again, we have Sister Social Call on Instagram. You can find myself, Krista. I'm on all things Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And Stacy is on Facebook and LinkedIn if you want to connect with her. But the best way to contact us is probably through Sister Social Call, because that's what we're here for. And pretty much thanks you guys so much for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody. Love you, Stacy.
Love you too. Have a great rest of your day.